Hi, and welcome back. This is week 3 of our foundational series. So, very beginner friendly still. And while we're still working on our theme of breath for the whole month of January, I quickly want to remind you that February we'll be working more on alignment in setting up proper anatomical alignment to make sure that you're safe in the pose and that you feel comfortable as we shift in and out of the poses. Not important for right now. We're just working on breath. We're just feeling into our bodies, but it's only 2 weeks away for alignment. So if you do want to get some blocks, I highly recommend you start shopping around now. That way, when February comes up, you already have them. So perfect. If you want to go ahead and grab some blocks, any kind of blocks, that'll work. Okay, another thing I want to touch on before we get started in our flow today is that I just posted a class. Last week we did a live class for Energy 101, and it was really about energy boundaries, how to set your own energy boundaries, how to maintain a strong energy field so that you're not drained from the stresses of the world. Or maybe if you're empathic, you start to pick up the emotions of others because we feel for them and we feel bad, and that's a lovely quality, but just so that we don't let it drain our own system. So right now that's free up on YouTube. I don't know how long it will stay free, but at least for the next few weeks, go ahead and check it out, and I'll put a link behind below this video. That way you can find it easily after class. But for today, we're just gonna do a sweet, slow vinyasa flow where we start to add a few more poses to what we already have learned in the past few weeks, and then link them together on our breath. So we'll be moving and flowing a little bit more. Reminder, if it is too much, take a break. Come to child's pose, have a seat, lay down, whatever you need to do. If it's too much, take a break. So since this is a video portion, I'm not giving tons and tons because you're welcome to pause, honor your own body more than anything. And yeah, just full breathe, and that's enough. So even if you just sit, you listen, you follow along, even just imagining it in your head is a really good prepper for your brain to get used to the movements. However you want to practice this, I encourage you to just stay relaxed and have a little bit of fun throughout. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. All right, so my name is Melissa from Melissa Borden Yoga. I feel like I keep forgetting to introduce myself in the introduction, but no worries. So if you need to find more about me, you can go to melissabordenyoga.com. But we are going to be together for the next 45 or so minutes. So we'll try to keep this under an hour for our nice flow. So go ahead and find your seat. However you want to sit, you can be cross-legged, does not matter. Get comfy. And then just tap into your breath. And what I mean by that is start to pay attention to your breath. You don't necessarily need to change it or deepen it right now, but just notice. If you do have a deep breath, it's good. Already that's your body starting to remember, oh, yoga is my time to relax. Soften, let go of stress. And then once we start to notice however our breath is, whether it triggered a deep breath or not, let's take a moment to set an intention. However you want this practice to go for you, or what you'd like to get out of it, whatever brought you to yoga, either overall or just right now, take a moment to focus on that. And then similar to how we do in the meditation course, we're just going to let that kind of drift away. We set our intention, we know it's there, and then we detach. So that whatever happens in the practice is okay. Yoga is about being so in the moment. We're with whatever is happening, whether it goes what we planned or not, and that's okay. Take 2 more breaths. Start to notice your posture in your spine. And again, don't worry so much about right or wrong. We'll get into the posture alignment really heavily in month 2. But for now, just notice, does my breath automatically start to change my posture? If I take a deep breath, do I feel like I want to lift my chest up? When I breathe out, what does it feel like to ground my butt bones down? And how does that naturally start to align my spine without needing to know the anatomy? Then take another breath in, lift up a little bit higher through the chest. And as you breathe out, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And just start to feel the stretch along the left side of your neck. Use an exhale, soften and release as much as you can in that left side of your neck. And then your next exhale is going to drop your chin to your chest. And then the rest of your spine stays fairly straight. Go ahead and inhale, left ear, left shoulder. So now we're feeling the stretch along the right side of the neck, maybe even down through the shoulder, upper back, wherever you feel it. Breath in, breath out. All right, chin to chest. Good, and start to feel the stretch through the back of your neck. And go ahead and pick your head up. Do a couple shoulder rolls. I'm going to do a lot more about opening through the chest and shoulders today, which will be really fun. Good. And then let's start with a few cat-cows. We've already started. Let's shift to a few cat-cows. Fingers spread wide. We're on our hands and knees and pressing down through the palms. On an inhale breath, see if you can lift your heart up. Shoulders already start to open a little. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Exhale, round. Start to draw your belly button to your spine. Tuck your chin to your chest and see how that feels along your back. Oh, feels really good on my low back. You can shift side to side, however feels good for you. And then noticing too what your hands are doing. Are you sinking into the outsides of your hands? And if so, can you press really firm through your whole palm so that the breath out really starts to ground us down, whether it's our feet or our hands. And then the inhale is going to look for a way to expand. Breath in, lift up through the heart. Exhale, root through your hands, round. One more time. Inhale, lift your head up, lift your chest up, draw your shoulder blades back. Exhale, round. Pressing firm through both palms. And then inhale, lift up. This time, tuck your toes. We're going to draw our belly button to our spine. And just for a moment, see if you can hover your knees off the ground. See what that does in your shoulders, your core, your legs, and then shift your butt bones up and back. So again, we're stepping our feet back a little bit more than we want to, because in the beginning of yoga, our tendency is to make our down dog a little bit shorter. So if possible, lengthen it out a little bit, and then relax your heels towards the floor, bend your knees a little bit, and then stick your butt bones way up towards the sky. Now stay here and breathe. Take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth, breathe out. And so we shifted to down dog a lot quicker than we have the past few weeks. So if you need a rest or a break, just re-lower your knees to the ground. Remember our wrist stretch that we practiced the last 2 weeks, we're just going to slowly stretch out through the tops of the wrists, give our wrists a little bit of time to adjust, and then we just come back. So it is a practice. Take one more full breath in and out wherever you are. And then inhale, start to walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat. So if you do have your blocks or you have a chair nearby, you can always use that for support. Depending on flexibility, you might need to bend your knees a little bit or again, put your hands up on something. And once your feet get up towards the front of wherever your mat space is, take your feet hip width wide apart, and then let your upper body just relax all the way down, especially through the back of your neck. And if this is too much, remember last week we practiced with our arms on our thighs, that's still always okay. So any variation your body wants to do, any class you're ever in, it's perfectly fine. So just vary however you need to for your body. Even if you put your arms up on a chair, that's perfect to start to open up through the backs of the legs. When I started yoga, I think my hands went to like here. They didn't go far. And it would be so intense on my hamstrings, and I still feel it every now and then if I'm really tight or I have a lot of emotional stuff going on or I just haven't stretched in a really long time. And then the more we do it, our muscle memory starts to build and remember, oh yeah, it's safe for me to let go. A lot of it is safety issues in our body. Kind of vulnerable to be so bendy sometimes. Take another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Now, bend your knees pretty deep Hands on your thighs or tap really strongly into the core. Go ahead and roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. Stretch through both sides. Exhale brings our hands to heart center. Yay! So we start to notice that even that movement, and we'll do it one more time. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Breath in, reaches up. Exhale, we come down through the center line. Again, we're rooting down through our feet. So we're moving on that breath and feeling how it feels in our body. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Palms press. Exhale, hands through heart center. Good. This is the essence of our Vinyasa flow. Vinyasa is really to move with intention. A lot of times it gets mistaken for moving fast on breath. And if you're intentional with that, that's perfect. But a lot of times we forget the intention. So myself included. Inhale, reach up. How intentional can you be with matching your breath to your movement? Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, feet hip width apart. Inhale, reach up. On your exhale, bend your knees, stick your butt bones out to the back, and then fold forward, fingertips to the floor. Breathe everything out. Relax through the back of your neck. Remember, if you need your blocks or your hands on a chair, go for it. And then inhale, we're going to find what's called a halfway lift. So we're pulling our heart straight forward. We're getting a lot of length in the spine, and if your hands are in a chair, your hands are in a chair, and it'll be similar. Exhale, refold right back down. Relax through the back of the neck. How much can we relax through that neck? Take one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Our butt bones go back as much as our heart pulls forward. This is our full inhale. And our full exhale folds us right back down. So we start to feel how it feels to move on the breath. Let's inhale, stand all the way up. So bend your knees, round through your spine, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Perfect. Feet press down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold all the way, knees bend, butt bones to the back, fold forward, fingertips to the ground, your chair, your blocks. Once your fingertips connect with something, that's when you can start to straighten out your legs if you are going for a more straight leg forward fold. And then breathe in, find your halfway lift, pull your heart forward. On your exhale, fold right back down. Check on your neck and shoulders and where can you let go. So the moving on the breath starts to be like this self-massage to shift emotions out of our body, which is super, super cool. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now bend your knees pretty deep. Press through all four corners of your feet. So pinky toe edge, big toe, both sides of your heels, if you can imagine that. Press really strong through your feet. Squeeze your core, keep your butt low, and then reach your arms forward and up for like a chair pose. Now again, don't worry about our posture. You can have your hands pressed, shoulders wide, hands to heart. There is no wrong. There's no wrong. Whatever feels good. Take another breath in, lift up through the heart. Breath out, maybe sit your butt a little bit more down and back. So we're kind of like a lightning, I think this is called lightning bolt in kids yoga. Lightning bolts. My nieces are watching. Hello. Audrey and Maddie, talking to you. This is lightning bolts. Yay! Okay, one more breath in, reach up. Straighten your legs. Exhale, fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Now keep the length from your spine. This helps set up our shoulders really strong as we plant our palms. Bend your knees as much as you need to plant your palms. And step back to that downward dog again. Once we find our down dog position, I'm going to inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, lower the knees to the mat. Untuck your toes. Sit up. Have a little break. See how it feels. So when we are doing a lot of movement, even if it's just up and down in one stance, you might call it, we didn't move around the mat a lot. We're still moving a lot of energy through our body, so we take these breaks to integrate. To let your body remember what just happened, or deeper, to integrate those emotions that we move around. So you might see there's some funny memes around about how certain yoga poses can bring up emotions like anger or frustration. It's true because where we store that in our body, now we're moving that energy around. If we don't give it a big sigh or time to integrate and process, then it just gets stored somewhere else. So these breaks are so important. 2 breaths just for you. Inhale. Exhale. All right, I'm going to go back in and we're going to build on with what we've done last week. And then, yeah, let's go. So fingers spread wide, tabletop. Use your breath in. Open and expand through the heart. Tuck your toes. Exhale. Hover the knees just for a slight moment and then shift back downward dog. Good. Our heels towards the floor. And already, since we did that first flow at the front of our mat, see if maybe your heels do go a little bit closer to the floor. Maybe your hamstrings feel a little more stretched. You can still have that bend in your knee and your butt bones are always shifting up. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Look forward. Start to walk your feet to meet your hands. Bend your knees. Walk your hands up some furniture whenever you need to. Feet hip width apart, which means right underneath each hip bone is going to be your foot. Breathe in, find your halfway lift, pull your heart forward. And then on your exhale, drop your butt down. Squeeze through your belly. Inhale, round all the way up. Standing, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. So let's pour the weight into our right foot. Hover the left leg up. Squeeze the belly a little. And now focus on how it feels to really press through that right foot. So we're getting our grounding down first. We feel solid in the right foot before we try to go anywhere. Inhale lifts the heart. The exhale allows that left leg to extend all the way back. Warrior one. We've practiced this before. Our back foot is pressing through that pinky toe edge so much that it strengthens up the back leg and hip, butt area. And then the exhale lets you sink into that front leg a little. Now feel how it feels in your feet and through that stance. And then your breath in lifts up through the heart, maybe lifts the arms up. Palms can touch, shoulders wide. For now, do what feels great on your shoulders. For always, do what feels great on your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Use your exhale to allow your hips and shoulders to open up to the side wall. And then notice, don't jam too far because you're going to feel it's a little bit funny in your foot. So we're going to open up the back foot wide so that the hips and chest now face the side wall. Now these front toes might try to turn in a little bit. So say, no, no, no. Going straight out front. And then bend into that front knee. Inhale, lifts the heart again. Exhale, where can you ground down through the feet? Press more. Breath in, lift up. Exhale, expand, open through the arms. So sometimes our moving on our breath is really subtle. Just getting a little bit deeper into the pose. Now our legs are going to stay strong. We're going to draw our belly button into the spine and use an inhale to reach the right arm up for reversed warrior. This back hand just taps the back thigh. And more so than just trying to bend backwards, we're thinking about this right shoulder and how can we get that right shoulder up? How can we extend and reach up more than we're going back? So we're getting this great length through the front of the body. And then on the exhale, if there's any room to test and shift back a little bit, cool. But if not, it's really about the length. How much length can we get in that rib cage versus compressing that left side? Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Come back for our warrior two. Good. So we're staying in our warrior two. Pressing through both feet. Let's try that reversed warrior one more time. We're going to wait for an inhale breath. We extend up through the right arm. Remember, we're lengthening on the right. Don't worry about crunching and contracting on the left. We're just getting as much length as we can. Exhale, back to warrior two. Now we're pressing in through that front foot, keeping this thigh at least a little bit bent. One more time. Inhale, reverse. Reach that arm up. Exhale, this time we're going to squeeze through our belly. Bring this right elbow to that bent thigh and let it have a rest. So now we're in a side angle pose. We're adding on a lot of poses today, I guess. So we're bending into this knee. I said I guess because I didn't expect to do this pose, but this is the pose we're doing. It's a great one though. It's great pose. So our elbows on our thigh, and this top shoulder is going to rotate open. So I guess we should be doing this one. I talked about we're opening up through the shoulders. This is a really great pose for that. That top arm just reaches straight up. So you notice we're not just like leaning into that bottom arm and just kind of like reaching forward, because we've seen in a picture. Some of my pictures might do that. I don't know. But we're really holding up strong through the core. And then this arm is just for a bit of support. So our core is strong and that top shoulder rotates open. So for now, we're just going to reach up. Sometimes it is good to reach over, but to get that basic motion of opening up through the chest, let's just reach up, see how much expansion we can get through the heart. Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Breath in. Exhale, look down. Bring your hands around your front foot. Now walk that back foot up. Feet hip width apart again. You can adjust, shake out that leg if you need to. Breathe in, find that halfway lift. Remember, we lengthen our spine as much as possible. We pull through the heart. And then exhale, slight bend in the knees. Soften the whole upper body down. Relax through the back of the neck. Breathe in, halfway lift. Open up your mouth, soften, relax down. And then slow motion. Bend through the knees, sink into your butt. Draw your belly to your spine. Roll all the way up to standing. Arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Breathe. Good. Same, other side. Let's take one breath to reset before we go. Full breath in through the nose. Full breath out. Feel your feet root down and start to feel even more solid through that left foot. Can you spread your left toes? You feel all four corners of that foot. Now we're going to shift the weight over, draw the belly in. So this core movement helps pick up that leg. Take your breath in. Exhale, step the right foot all the way to the back to find warrior one. So we've got that bend in our front knee, strengthening up the back leg by pressing through the pinky toe edge. And then our heart and hips start to shift a little bit forward. Breathe in, lift the heart up, lift the arms up. Exhale, plant through both feet. Remember, wherever is most comfortable on your arms and shoulders is where you should put your arms and shoulders. Now breathe. One more breath in. Breath out. Breath in, lift up through the heart. Breath out, hands through heart center. And then we're going to twist from the upper body first. We're going to start to open up that chest, hip, but super gently. And we'll learn why in the in the alignment portion. But for now, just go really gentle to open up that back foot. We'll break down warrior two even more in month 2. But for now, press down through the pinky toe edge, bend into the front knee. Arms will reach to the front and back. Perfect. And then feel how it feels. Where do you feel your feet pressing down? Breathe. Inhale, lift up through the heart. Exhale, can you expand through both arms? Now our right hand can come to the back side for support when it's ready. Our focus, though, is now this left shoulder, rib cage, opening up. Inhale, reach up, open, lengthen on the left. And now the right, remember, we don't want to crunch because we don't want to compress anything in the low back. So our focus is how high can we reach? And that focus on reaching might straighten your front leg, and that's okay. Just rebend it. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, back to warrior two. And then inhale, lengthen on the left. How high can you get that left shoulder, that left rib cage? Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, comes back to warrior two. Find your grounding. One more time. Inhale, reach, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze the core, particularly the left side of your core. Anything you can imagine in that left side. Bring that elbow to your thigh. Good. Now we're going to check the bend in that foot. Now, if it's too difficult, too much of a muscle strain, you can walk that back foot in so it's a little bit less intense. And we're just using our arm for a bit of support. We're going to inhale, rotate that right shoulder open, 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 and reach up towards the sky. Now pay attention to how this feels. Take another deep breath in, open through the heart. Exhale, reach up through that top finger and press through both feet. 2 more breaths in this side angle pose. 1 more breath in. Exhale, look down. Bring both hands around your front foot. Instead of stepping forward, shift this foot all the way back to your downward dog. Perfect. Feet hip width-ish. Heels towards the floor. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, lower the knees. Sit your butt back on your heels. And pause for that integration. Full breath in through the nose. Full breath out. 2 more breaths. As still as you can allow your body to be. Good. Maybe just 2 more breaths. Body wants to be super still. Maybe I'll edit this out. Maybe I'll leave it. Maybe your body wants to be really still too. And the more you practice, you'll start to notice your own integration patterns of when you need a rest, how long the rest needs to be. But for now, we just keep offering the body time. Here's some time to just be. Perfect as you are. Okay, fingers spread wide. We're not going to build onto that sequence right now, just so your brain has an idea of where to go. We're going to come to the front and then learn a new pose. So fingers spread wide. Toes tuck. Draw your belly button to the spine. Press through your palms and hover your knees off the ground. Hover, hover. Shift your butt up and back. Good. Now, from here, keep your fingers spread wide. Press through the left foot and use your inhale breath to just hover your right toes up. Now notice if your right hip tries to pop way up, see if you can keep your hips squared for now and just lift the right toes up. Remember, if this is too much, just take a break whenever you need. We can just keep coming back to this class again and again, and it'll build up a little bit of strength. Next breath in, if you want to try squeezing through your right leg to lift it high. Take another deep breath in. Now allow the hip to open. Exhale, bend your knee. Open up your hip even more. It's okay if the right shoulder pops up a little bit. Just feel whatever you feel stretching or going on in that leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, slow motion. Not a drop or a thud, but see if you can control bringing that right leg all the way down as soft of a landing as you can manage. Good, and now shift the weight over to the right foot. Hover the left leg. If the hip pops open for now, see if you can square, which will pour some weight into the shoulder so we start to feel the shoulders firing up. And then inhale starts to lift the left leg up. And then the exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Notice what you feel going on. You can bend the right knee if you want. Take a breath in. Exhale is soft and controlled as you can manage. The left toes down. Soft, soft landing. And then walk your feet forward. Excellent. Feet hip width apart. Breath in, lengthens your spine. Breath out, roll around, release through the back of the neck. Inhale, stand all the way up. Come through a little chair so you drop your butt, round up. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Perfect. Okay, Let's take a big stance to the back. So not vinyasa style, just take your feet wide. And in general, we're gonna have our heels or our ankles about right underneath our wrists, but it really doesn't matter, just give you a general idea. Now take your right toes towards the side wall, back toes are towards the back wall. So we have our legs nice and straight. You can have a slight bend in them just so that they don't walk, but we just kind of want our legs straightish. And then arms out to the front and back. Breath in lifts up through the heart. Your breath out is going to just shift your upper body straight forward, like there's a string on your chest and one from your arm, and you're just being pulled off to the side. So this will kick the hips a little bit to the side. We're reaching as far as we can manage with that right arm, left hand to hip. And then just once we can't reach anymore, once the hamstring says, okay, that's stretched enough, thanks, we're just going to lower the right hand to the shin bone or the upper thigh, just not on the knee. Or if you have a block, you can grab a block. From here, we find where's good for us. We check we're not locked in the knee, so a micro bend. And then again, we're coming back to that shoulder focus, right? Open up through that shoulder, reach that top arm up. Now we've got triangle pose. I'll try to sing less. Breath in, puffs up through the heart. Breath out, rotate that top shoulder open. Feel your feet. How does it feel? If there's room to go further, you can, or you can even bring your fingertips on the inside of that front foot, as long as you don't compromise that shoulder rolling open. So if you reach for the ground and your shoulder suddenly has to tuck down, for now, I'd recommend propping up a little bit, get a chair, a block. Don't know if you have a pretty sturdy dog, put your hand on them, rotate that shoulder open so we have that expansion going on. Breath in, breath out. Look down, bend your front knee, come all the way back up. Turn your right toes in, extend through the left toes this time. Same thing, breath in lifts through the heart. Breath out, we're going to pull that left arm as far forward as the hamstring will allow. Eventually get to a place where the hamstring is just like, thank you, that's enough of a stretch. And then lower that hand down to the ground. So we can have fingertips on the ground, hand on the shin bone, wherever you need. And then we're pulling our heart straight forward over that leg. Exhale, rotate that arm up. So we're still moving on the breath. Breath in lengthens the heart. This is the subtle movements. Breath out rotates that shoulder even more. Good. Breathe. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Look down. Bend into the front knee. Slow motion. Come all the way up. We have the knee bent as we come up. And then just walk your feet forward. Or together. Feet can be together or hip width. We are going to do our first balance together. So I'm going to have my feet hip width, but if it doesn't bother your low back or you feel balanced enough, you can have your big toes together. And then just feel how it feels. Just to be grounded down, all four corners of both feet. And then just like you're pouring the weight, like you had 2 glasses of water and you just pour some water over, you're going to shift the weight into your left foot again. And then pop that right foot up. And if you get wobbly in the ankle, amazing. That is your body learning how to balance and hold strong. You can soften the left knee a little so it's not locked. Relax through the shoulders, relax the jaw. And then use your breath still. Inhale, lift the right knee up and grab hold of the front of your knee or whatever you need. And if you're by a couch and you get wobbly, you can put your foot on the couch and just play with taking the pressure out of your foot. You can hang onto a wall or both or neither, wherever you want to be. Now we're holding our core a little bit strong to help our spine stay nice and tall. Pressing down through that bottom foot. I'm getting wobbly too. And now left hand to the hip bone, unless you need it for balance somewhere. We're going to exhale, open that knee open. Open the knee open, open it wide. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, open. Like a little door hinge. Inhale through center. Exhale, open. Good. So it might seem like we're doing this right hip, but really we're working on stability in that standing leg. You might feel it around your butt and your thigh, and that's perfect. Now, flex the foot. Bring it either to your inner thigh, whoop, maybe not, or your calf. You can even balance your toes on the ground, wherever you want to be, just not your knee, ideally. I don't think I want to do that one today. I'm going to put my foot here. And then still grounding down through that left foot. All four corners if you can manage. Heartless. Hands together. Breathe. So a lot of times tree pose, we reach the arms up and out and all those things. But for now, just bring your fingertips together. So it's a little bit softer in the shoulders. And we're going to rotate the shoulders whoop, back. So we get that opening. It's almost as if our shoulder blades in the back are hugging towards one another. So we're hugging the blades towards one another. Take another breath in. Exhale, slow motion. Remember that soft landing? Slowly put that foot down. Good. Shake out the leg if you need. And come back to your stance. Breath in and out to integrate. Full breath in. Full breath out. Amazing. Now, feel both feet down. And that water glass, remember? Just going to shift our weight into the right foot now. And now squeeze the core and hover the left leg up. Use an inhale breath to pull the knee up. Find your grounding. Grab a wall, put your foot on the couch, chair, hover, whatever you need to do. Breathe. And then notice what's going on in this right hip. Is it trying to like fold in a goofy way? It's okay if it is. But see if you can keep this right leg so solid, hip bone pointing forward. Our hip bone stays forward as we exhale and start to open that hip. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, open the hip. Foot can be flexed, pointed, whatever you want for now. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, open. Good. Whoop, getting wobbly. Inhale, back through center. Last one. Exhale, open wide. See what you feel going on in your right butt thigh. You press down even more firm through the foot. And now attach this foot to the thigh or your calf, toes on the ground. I'm going to go here, just not your knee. And then once we get our foot attached, find our balance, open that knee up wide again. Again, that right hip bone faces forward. Fingertips together. Shoulder blades squeeze. Breathe. Feel whatever you feel, whether it's an emotion coming up, frustration at what it's like to balance, pride at how well you're balancing. There's so many places on the spectrum you could be, and they are all okay. So just feel how you feel. And then whether it seems good or bad or whatever, just allow it to go. Whatever it is, cool. Thank you. I let go. Go of attachments of how my practice should be. And I just feel it for what it is. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Soft landing with that left foot. Good. Kick out that leg if you want to. And back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold down. Breathe in, halfway lift, heart forward. Keep the right foot where it is. Fingertips down for support. Bend your knees. Right foot stays. Left toes all the way to the back of your mat. Angled or a warrior two stance, whichever one you want. We're going to squeeze through our belly. And that front thigh, you can even put your hands there for support to come on up. Once we're up, we're opening the back foot. Back to that warrior two we practiced earlier. So you ground through both feet. Lift up through the heart. Expand out through the arms. Perfect. Breath in. Breath out. Now we're going to put together all the poses we just learned. So plant your feet. We're stretching through the right rib cage. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, reach up. Exhale back to warrior two. One more time. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Reach up. On the exhale, this time side angle, elbow to your thigh. Good. And then top shoulder rolls way open, reach up. Stay for the breath out. Inhale, back to warrior two. Press strong through that foot. Come back up. Straighten your front leg. Pull your right arm as far forward as you can manage till your hamstring says, thanks, that's enough. Drop your right fingertips right on the inside of that foot or on your shin bone or wherever you like. Rotate that top shoulder open. Reach up. Full breath in. Full breath out. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out. Look down. Bend your knee. Step into the front foot. Our hands come forward for balance. Shift that back leg up. And slow motion, come all the way up to standing. Left toes can be down or start to bring that knee into your chest. Right hand to heart center. Once we ground down through the right foot, exhale, open up that knee wide. And then attach that foot wherever you want for your tree pose. You can do the foot on the inner thigh, calf, toes on the ground. Breathe. Fingertips together, shoulder blades squeeze so we open up through the heart. One more deep breath in. On your breath out, can you draw your belly button in towards your spine a little? Full breath in. Full breath out. And we're going to work on balance. I want to let you know in advance, the purpose is to make your body wobble. So if you fall over or you get topply, that is intentional. That's how we build the strength. So don't think that, oh, it's not for me. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, whatever. Try and be okay with however it goes and try to bring an element of fun. Like if a kid was doing this, how would they react? How fun could this be? Okay, so we're going to bring that knee back through center. We're going to exhale, slow motion, step all the way back, hover, 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 just for a moment. See how soft can you land those toes? Good. And then back to warrior two. Perfect. Breath in, breath out. Hands around the front foot. Step your right toes back, downward dog. And inhale, lift the heels. Pull forward all the way to a high push-up just for a moment. Heart pulls forward, heels pull back, knees down. Knees can be wide. Untuck your toes, child's pose. So we're softening our chest, belly, back, forehead down, and have a rest. 3 breaths. Come on back up. Press through the palms, tabletop, and do the same other side, and then make it to the ground for our final stretch. Downward dog. Okay, let's walk our feet forward. Feet hip width apart. Find your halfway lift. Fold right back down. Not going to stand up this time. We're going to do one more halfway lift. Pull your heart forward. Keep the length. Fingertips for support. You can bend your knees as much as you need to or grab those blocks or a chair or wherever. Pour the weight into the left foot. Step the right toes all the way back to the back of your mat. And now press strong through both feet. You can use your hands on that thigh if you need for support to come on up. We'll start kind of in a warrior one, but we're just opening up that hip back foot to that warrior two stance, which is our nice wide hips, chest open to the side wall. Got a bend in the front foot. Arms reach towards the front and back. Now breathe, see how it feels, feel your grounding before we shift around. Full breath in, full breath out. With the left arm going up, we're gonna reach up on the breath in, stretch through the rib cage. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up. Following your own breath, exhale, warrior two. Back to where we were. This time we'll shift to side angle after. Inhale, reach up. On your exhale, squeeze through the core, bring the elbow to your thigh. And then that top arm, inhale, reach up. So we're still moving. Even the transitions are on the breath. So we get that internal massage effect. Breathe in. Breathe out. Look down. Press strong through the left foot. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Exhale. Pull that left arm as far forward as you need. Remember, you can walk that back foot in a little bit if you need, or just if you want to. Once your hamstring doesn't stretch anymore, left fingertips down wherever they go. Right shoulder rolls way, way open. And even notice how that changes in your inner thigh when you rotate your top shoulder open. Breathe. Can you draw that right hip bone a little bit back? Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, look down, bend into your front knee, hands around your front foot. You can walk your hands as far forward as you need. Shift forward. And how those right toes can be for a little bit of support on the ground. Bend your left knee, or you can keep the right toes up. We're going to come all the way up to standing, bringing that right knee with us. Grab onto the right knee, left hand to heart center. Find your grounding on the left foot. Lift up through the heart and head. Exhale, open up the leg. And then attach foot to inner thigh, foot on the calf, toes on the ground, wherever you would like it to be. And breathe. Fingertips touch, shoulder blades squeeze. Belly draws in a little. We keep coming back to the core because this is what helps hold our posture. And we'll go deeper in month 2 for sure. But even with the breath, each time that we're breathing, shifts around our belly, right? So we're using that core contraction as a way to pump our breath. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. And right hand can help grab that knee. Bend a little bit in your left foot. Get a little bit playful and slow motion as slowly as you can manage. Then the right toes back, hover super soft landing to the back. Warrior two. Breath in. Breath out, hands around the heart. Whoops, around the front foot. Lift the back heel up. Shift back. Good. And before we do our integration, we're going to practice a couple of those spinal rolls we did last week. So we're just trying to bring as much roundness in the spine on the way forward and the opposite shape on the way back. So we're going to inhale, lift the heels, squeeze the legs, draw the belly in, round, 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 all the way up. And on the exhale, bend your knees, stick your butt bones out, and then like vertebrae by vertebrae, try to slink back. Inhale, lift the heels around. Exhale, bend your knees. And if this is too much, you can just practice this in your cat and cow, right, with your knees down. We're just rolling through the spine. Butt bone goes up like a slow motion when you whip a towel. It's the same motion, right? Whether you're on your knees or from downward dog. Let's try one more. Inhale, round. Exhale, knees are bent, butt bones up. Head is the last to drop. Excellent. And we'll keep practicing that so it feels more and more natural in your own body. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, lower the knees. Take your knees wide, wider than you have before. Untuck your toes, sit your butt back for child's pose. You can have your arms extended or elbows bent. Grab onto one another. Forehead either to your arms or to the ground. And now this is our rest. So shift your weight side to side if you want to get centered. Adjust in your hips. And then once you find a spot that feels okay, we're just getting super still. And you can come up a little bit. And then palms together. elbows wide, and see if you can get your elbows pretty wide and then start to sink your chest down. So this will give a little bit of a stretch in the upper back. If it's too much, don't do it. So we're thinking now, instead of just forehead down, we're thinking chest to the floor. And maybe even our chin comes on the floor. But maybe not. Butt bones towards your feet. And slowly walk your hands up. Good. Have a seat. I'm going to do our hip stretch seated today, just to get a little variation. So if you want the relaxed figure four, absolutely go for it. Hands back and left foot down, right foot flexed. It's like a Dr. Seuss book. Right foot. And then open up the knee wide. So you can stay here or start to walk up a little bit. Maybe walk this other foot in, wherever your threshold is, where you can feel it, but it's not too much. You can still breathe relaxed, and then shifting a little bit side to side, you can start to massage around that right hip. So if you sit a lot, do a lot of desk work, drive, I don't know, live life, this might get tight. This is a good one to do. And then the more you have your chest forward versus rounding, the more intense the stretch will be too. So if you need to deepen it, just check, is my chest up? And now we're going to start to walk the left toes forward and plant this foot. Sit up tall and left breath in, lift up. We're going to hook the left elbow. Got our right knee bent. We're hooking the left elbow and then twisting around the back. So this right hand is for support, like a second spine. Lifts up still on the breath in. Exhale, twist. Not super intense, just feel how you feel. Come back to center. And plant the right foot. Now bring the left leg in. Flex your foot, cross, open. Now walk that foot in, walk your arms up. Whew, this side's a lot tighter. Whew. And then slow motion shift side to side. If it feels funny in your knee, don't do it. I had a knee injury last year from overstretching in a lotus pose, which is similar to this, but it was the same motion I was doing. It was an Ashtanga, and then there was a pop in my knee. But I think because, well, I know anatomy wise, it was because I was so sore and tight. And so I did the same motion I'm used to, but I was too sore. So it was too much for my knee. This is one of the reasons we keep our knee foot flexed and locked, and then really listen. If it's too tight, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to back off and be gentle. I also had some emotional stuff going on that relates to the knee. Maybe we'll get into that in another video. So I went and healed that part, and then the knee was okay within like 2 weeks, which is good. But I'm still really careful with knees. Okay, breath in. Breath out. Walk your right toes forward. And now plant the left foot. Sit up tall. And twist. Excellent. One more breath. Good. If there's any more stretches you need to do, please, by all means, pause, stretch. I want to keep this under an hour, so we're going to go to Shavasana. And knees into your chest, do a couple rocks side to side. Not that you need to do extra stretches, this is plenty for sure. But I know there's some really loved ending stretches, so if you want to do more, I'm not going to say no. And then you can either do your Shavasana with your soles of your feet together, knees fan out wide, and a hand on the chest and one on the belly, or more traditional, which is what I'm going for, your feet wide towards the corners of your mat, just so that we have as relaxed as we can be in the hips versus being super straight. It's a little more harsh on the low back. And then arms out to the side, palms face up. And then adjust, wiggle, whatever you need to do. Have a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Relax. Feel how your body feels. Feel where you can soften and let go. Can you relax through the jaw, space between your eyebrows? Relax your hips a little bit more. Shoulders, hands, letting everything go as heavy as possible. Shavasana is one of the most important elements of the yoga practice to integrate and allow those motions to finish the motions, the emotions and the energy that we push around through the movement to integrate. The breath and the integration is what makes the physical yoga practice so different than a regular physical workout. This is the element that lets all the stress shift out. Staying with the Shavasana if you have time for 2 more minutes. Allow your body to just rest and be however it's feeling. Just noticing, not changing. Just take 5 more breaths. Maybe on that 5th breath, bringing a little more life and energy, taking a full body stretch. And rolling onto one side with your top hand pressing down, that connection to the earth, reestablishing that root chakra, and pressing down to come up to any comfortable seat. Checking in on how you feel. Take a moment for yourself. Feel gratitude that you took this time for yourself. I'm grateful that you're here practicing with me. Palms together. One last breath. Full breath in. Full breath out. Thank you for sharing this practice. And I will see you next week.